We are here to demand justice and accountability. Rather than a few bad apples, there was a systematic problem that took place during the G20 policing. The Toronto Police have now, as of yesterday, released a report that, frankly, I can only describe as a joke. It is a complete evasion of their responsibility for stripping citizens of their rights and for massively abusing police powers.
Today I want to focus on the smaller number of arrests that happened before the G20 even occurred, before the big G20 protest even occurred. If you criminalize organizers, as was done during the G20, you arrest them before the event that they organize even happens for what you fear might happen. This is a fundamental attack on our democratic rights, a fundamental attack. Those 17 people, or 11 people now, and I think it's 17 altogether, are facing conspiracy charges, very serious charges. These must be dropped immediately. Conspiracy to do what? They were basically organizing to get people out on the street. Those charges should be dropped. And finally, I want to say that it's not only the police abuses, it's also abuses of the Crown. The Crown who used the arrests during the G20 to stop organizers from participating in protests. I organized a panel discussion at Ryerson University, and one, Alex Hunter, his bail was revoked because he participated in a panel discussion. This is an outrage, a serious attack even on freedom of speech, let alone the freedom to protest.
Over 1,100 people were arrested, again, the largest mass arrest in Canadian history. Hundreds of people were beaten and physically abused. Women and queer people in particular were strip searched, were sexually harassed and assaulted. Charging a couple of cops on the beat isn't getting to the root of the actual problem. As long as the people who planned, ordered, and oversaw these shocking abuses are walking free, it seems illegitimate to pursue charges against protesters. Public money continues to be wasted in the courts while they pursue this witch hunt against protesters through these charges, particularly the conspiracy charges. And it's really important that in a context where over 90% of the charges and people's names have been cleared, that we can't trust the charges that continue against people. So they need to be dropped. We need to stop wasting this money.
As often happens when the camera lens is focused solely on the actions of the police, the larger discussion about the political decisions and the strategies that were undertaken before that weekend have been ignored and have not been engaged. We are not just looking for police accountability, we're looking for political accountability. We want an independent review, not just to find out what happened and who the players were and how this whole situation debacle was allowed to happen, but we want to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Senior law enforcement officers, members of the Ontario government, members of the federal government, specifically all those who were involved in the secret amendments to the Public Works Act, and other elected and unelected officials clearly engaged in a conspiracy to allow individuals to be deprived of their civil rights and their liberties during the G20. So consequently, I want to join with all of my colleagues at the table here, calling for a full, independent public inquiry. Nothing less will satisfy our public. We are not going to go away. We will continue day in and day out to make absolutely certain that civil liberties and workers' rights in this country are protected. And majority government or not, we will not allow any government to willy-nilly take away those basic rights.
That's exactly what happened. The greatest assault on civil liberties in Canadian history. And so far, the perpetrators have been rewarded, not punished for it. And so that's why we have to have a full, independent judicial inquiry into who were the decision makers behind it, who called the shots, when did they do it, and where are they now?